One evening, while Miguel was repairing a broken fence, Alina approached him with trembling hands. She looked nervous, unlike her usual confident self. Miguel wiped the sweat from his forehead and asked if she was okay. Alina took a deep breath and said something he never expected. "Miguel, I want to stay longer. I want to stay with you and Tatay Lando." The words slipped out with emotion she could no longer hide. Miguel was shocked. A woman who once rejected him now wanted to stay? Before he could answer, she continued, "I don't want a rich life anymore. I want a true one." Miguel's hands froze. He asked her softly, "Why? Why choose a simple man like me?" Alina stepped closer, her voice trembling. "Because you are strong without pride. You are rich without money, and you are truthful without fear. No man in Ukraine ever showed me that." Tears filled her eyes as she said the words she once swore she'd never say. "If a man like you asked me to marry him, I would say yes." Miguel felt his heart explode inside his chest, but he didn't say anything yet. Instead, he whispered, "Let's wait for the right time. Love grows slowly, but when it does, it lasts." Alina nodded, feeling both relief and deeper affection. That night, Miguel lay awake, staring at the bamboo ceiling. He was happy, but fear crept into his heart. What if Alina missed her old life? What if she realized the Philippines was too hard? What if she regretted choosing a poor man? He didn't want to trap her in a life she didn't fully understand. Meanwhile, inside her room, Alina struggled with her own fears. What if Miguel saw her as temporary? What if he believed she was only staying because she was lonely? Both hearts wanted each other, but both were scared of losing what they had found. Tatay Rando sensed their confusion. The next morning, he gave them advice during breakfast. "Love is not perfect," he said. "It is not rich, it is not stable, it is not safe, but it is real when two people choose each other even when life is difficult." His words stayed with them the whole day. Miguel realized he needed to stop doubting himself. Alina realized love was not about comfort, but about courage. That afternoon, they walked together through the rice fields in silence, letting their fears melt into the earth beneath their feet. Every step brought them closer, not because life was easy, but because they were ready to walk it together. Eventually, Alina had to return to Ukraine to settle her documents and family matters. The day she left, Miguel felt like his heart was being pulled out of his chest, but he hid the pain behind a smile. Alina hugged Tatay Lando tightly and whispered, "I will come back. This is my home now, too." When Miguel drove her to the airport, they sat silently, each holding emotions too heavy to speak. At the departure gate, she took Miguel's hand and said, "If you ever doubt my feelings, remember the storm. I didn't fall in love with your house. I fell in love with your heart." Miguel finally allowed himself to cry, and she wiped his tears gently before walking away. When she reached Ukraine, everything felt different. The buildings looked cold. The people looked busy and tired. The life she once admired now felt empty. She realized she had changed, and she had changed because Miguel existed. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, Miguel worked harder, saved every coin, and prayed every night for her safe return. Their messages were long and emotional, each one proving that distance does not destroy real connection, it strengthens it. Alina faced criticism in Ukraine. Some friends mocked her for choosing a poor Filipino man. Others told her she deserved someone richer, but Alina defended Miguel fiercely. She told them, "A rich liar is nothing compared to a truthful man with little." Her honesty shocked people. She explained how Filipinos live with heart, not pride. She realized that society lied to her for years, telling her wealth was everything. Now she understood that truthfulness was the real treasure. Every night, she told Miguel about her battles, and he always replied the same way: "Do not fight for me. Fight for your truth." Miguel also faced comments from neighbors who asked if a foreign woman like Alina would really return, but he always answered calmly: "If love is real, it comes back." His faith became his strength, and Tatay Lando reminded him, "A woman who chooses humility will never leave." These months apart taught them something powerful. Love builds itself on truth, and truth survives distance. Their bond grew stronger, not through gifts or dates, but through honesty, patience, and mutual respect. 6 months later, Alina returned, but this time she didn't bring just luggage. She brought paperwork showing she had resigned from her job, sold her unnecessary belongings, and was ready to build a life with Miguel. When Miguel saw her walking out of the airport, he didn't believe his eyes. Alina didn't run to him with dramatic hugs. She walked calmly, with eyes full of purpose. When she stood in front of him, she said, "I am home." Miguel held her hands, his voice shaking. "Are you sure?" She smiled through tears. "Yes, I choose this life. I choose you." When they arrived at the house, Tatay Lando embraced her like a daughter returning from a long journey. That night, the barangay celebrated her return. Neighbors welcomed her with food, music, and laughter that shook the ground. It was simple, noisy, and imperfect, but Alina felt more loved than she ever felt in her luxurious Ukrainian dinners. She sat beside Miguel under the lantern lights and realized happiness was never about riches, it was about belonging. One quiet morning, Miguel took Alina to the river where children played and old fishermen repaired nets. There, under a mango tree, Miguel finally gathered the courage he kept for months. His hand shook as he reached into his pocket, not for a diamond ring, but for a handmade wooden ring carved from the same tree that shaded them. He knelt on the rough ground and said, "I cannot offer you a mansion. I cannot offer you luxury, but I can offer my whole life, truthful, faithful, and strong. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Alina's face. She took the ring, held it against her heart, and whispered, "This is worth more than diamonds." "Yes, Miguel, yes." The river breeze carried their laughter like music, and even the children clapped. They didn't celebrate in fancy hotels. They celebrated in a humble village where love was pure, simple, and deeply human. That night, Tatay Lando cried quietly, thanking God that his son found a woman who saw wealth in character, not in cash. Miguel and Alina married in the small barangay chapel, with neighbors singing and children throwing flowers. Their wedding wasn't lavish, but it was overflowing with warmth. Alina wore a simple white dress sewn by the village seamstress. Miguel wore a clean barong gifted by the barangay captain. During the ceremony, Tatay Lando gave them the most powerful advice. A strong marriage is not built by money. It is built by truth, loyalty, and courage. His voice trembled with emotion, and everyone felt his words settle into their hearts. Years later, people from other towns and even abroad came to hear their story. A Ukrainian woman who once rejected Filipino men, but later married one because she discovered their true strength, truthfulness, and heart. Alina always told listeners, "I judged before knowing," but the world needs Filipino honesty, Filipino strength, and Filipino loyalty. Their life became a living lesson that stereotypes break when hearts open. Their love story wasn't perfect, but it was real. And sometimes, real is the most beautiful. Together, they built a small home, a simple life, and a bond stronger than any wealth. Their story proved one thing: Real love is not found in fortune, it is found in truth.